Not live in America, but we are buying American. $21 billion worth of American goods we bought here in the UAE last year. That is up 19.19%. Joining us in the studio now, delighted to welcome for the first time on the Business Breakfast, Dayle Carden, who's a senior advisor to the UAE US Business Council. Dayle, good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning, which is lovely to be here.
So let's start with the headline number. Non-oil exports we're talking about here. From the UAE to America, that's flat. The real story was US to the UAE. What are we buying? You live here.
Yeah, I do live here, and that number keeps going up every year. Last year was a really amazing year for us, as up 19% according to the U.S. Department of Commerce statistics. Most of what the trade is in healthcare, technology, some advanced manufacturing, and we're seeing increased investment from the UAE in these sectors in the U.S. as well.
Well, let's talk about the stuff that we're buying. Tesla cars. We're looking at the windows in Media City. You can see the roads outside. Tesla cars flying past. They're made in America. Boeing planes.
That's right.
Military hardware. Always a massive part of US exports to the United States. How important is that? We'll get onto AI in a second, but that good old-fashioned industrial kit that we buy from America, of that $21 billion, how much of it is that?
A significant portion of that is consumer goods that the UAE is purchasing. But what we're seeing is that the growth area is really in business that we're doing together. UAE-US collaboration, even for aircraft manufacturing, in AI, in technology. In all sectors, there's increased joint manufacturing and joint collaboration, which we're seeing the growth market in. And healthcare is a growth sector for this relationship.
Well, let's look at one of those, AI, artificial intelligence. A couple of months ago now, Satya Nadella of Microsoft was here in the UAE in Abu Dhabi, gave a speech. I went down there to watch him deliver the speech, and he made great play about the links between Microsoft and the UAE in Abu Dhabi. That is why he was there, let's be honest.
That's right.
Yeah, there's a reason he stopped off in Abu Dhabi. Even in his speech in the World Economic Forum in Davos in January, talking about AI, he name-checked the UAE a couple of times. Let's hear from him now, Satya Nadella.
The UAE, we are very, very excited about our footprint in the UAE, both in Abu Dhabi and in Dubai. By the way, the interesting thing is developers from UAE wanted not just in UAE, but they also wanted in all the European regions, because they already have customers for products you're building here all over the world. And it's fantastic to see that.
And then, of course, at the World Economic Forum, World Economic Summit, World Government Summit, third time lucky, here in Dubai. We had Omar Al-Alama, UAE Minister, on stage with, I mean, a who's who, Jason Huang of NVIDIA and others from ChatGPT as well. Specifically, what's going on?
The UAE is leading the world in AI, and they've gotten ahead of just about every country in the world. They were the first to announce a minister of AI. They wanted to have a policy on AI, and they've decided that the United States is leading in the technology in this space, and have partnered with the United States and announced a partnership that is a strategic level partnership between the United States and the UAE. Microsoft is one of the relationships that you've just heard about, but G42 and other AI companies in the UAE are increasingly looking to the United States for partnerships on AI. And what you mentioned about the World Government Summit, NVIDIA being here, and G42's new relationship with Microsoft and AWS and others, this is just the beginning. We believe that the US-UAE relationship on artificial intelligence and technology is going to lead the world in where AI is going for the future.
What about us selling stuff to America? So happy days if you're an American company, you're selling more kit in the UAE, 19% increase in sales. Woohoo, great. Countries like to export. But UAE non-oil exports to the United States were flat, just over $6 billion in 2023, much the same as 2022. Why are we not seeing the same bounce in the opposite direction? And you say aluminium, for example, is one of the big exports.
That's right. I mean, UAE's exports to the United States have always been limited to certain areas of commodities trading. But now what we are seeing is increasingly, like where the conversation started, is UAE not just selling things in the United States, but investing in key technology areas in the United States. And I think that's key to the future of the UAE. The UAE is invested in advanced technologies in the United States. It's investing in real estate. It's investing in the healthcare sector. And it's not just to invest and grow things in the United States, grow the business in the United States. It's also bringing those relationships here. And just for example, G42's relationship in the United States with a technology company called Cerebrus has helped the UAE develop its AI sector here in country. So UAE investments in the United States is a key part of this story. And I think what we will see from that is growing partnerships in the UAE as well.
Just quickly while you're here, you're a consultant now, and you help American companies invest, sell in this region. You're based here in the UAE, but you also cover Saudi Arabia as well. Fascinating background. You've got 15 years with the State Department, and you were in the US Embassy in Dubai in the economics unit for a while. I'm sure you've got some stories to tell, none of which you can tell on the radio, but that's for another day. But when the phone rings and people call you up and say, hey, Dayle, interested in the region, is the first conversation about the UAE, or is the first conversation about what's happening in Saudi Arabia? Because you cover both.
Yeah, I would say the conversation is still still about the UAE, because the UAE, especially after post-COVID, has become in fashion in the United States. More Americans know about the UAE. Post-COVID, know about Dubai. So there's always interest in the UAE. But speaking of Saudi Arabia, people see Saudi as a new market where there's a great deal of potential and a great deal of opportunity, but they don't know much about Saudi Arabia. There's still the unknown factor in Saudi. The UAE is more known, and so there's still a great deal of interest in the UAE, but increasingly we're seeing a conversation shift towards Saudi as well.
And in terms of big companies, when they're saying, Dayle, I want my headquarters in Dubai because they've got good schools and a busy airport, but my biggest client is in Saudi Arabia, they want my HQ in Riyadh. 20 seconds, what do you say to them?
We'd say you can continue to maintain your headquarters in the UAE because it's the easy place to live. It's a good place to live, and you can still have a presence in Saudi Arabia and meet the requirements there. It doesn't have to be a zero-sum game.
Great talk to you. Appreciate your time this morning. Dayle Carden there, Senior Advisor to the US UAE Business Council. Just to recap, exports from the United States to the UAE up 19% in 2023 to $21 billion. UAE exports the other way to America were flat.
Dubai Eye 103.8.
Join the conversation.